Cast is in my last name. The Shondaland boom. There was this show that I was obsessed with called Grey's Anatomy. Sandra Oh stopped by the office and I was like, there's Christina Yang.
I don't fit in.
I'm not cool enough. It took like a VHS of me dancing. And that guy got cast because I picked him from the pile of headshots. The right person is always going to play the part. I've had actors yell at me in the room. We're going extinct, by the way. You don't want to listen to your ego, but your ego is so loud. Your ego can drown out your inner voice.
Yeah.
You work so hard with little reward. I really just try and live my life with integrity.
Today's guest truly understands the alchemy of storytelling from the inside out. As an Emmy-nominated casting director for her work on Inventing Anna, and fresh off a win for Best Casting Director at the Mexican-American Film and Television Festival, she possesses that rare gift for finding the soul of a character. She played a pivotal role in my own journey as part of the team that cast me as Maya Bishop on Station 19. But beyond the screen, she is a woman of incredible depth, a 200-hour certified yoga master. She brings a unique groundedness to everything she touches. She is a gentle soul, a passionate lover of the arts, and an avid traveler who is soon heading to Australia to teach acting across the country. Above all, she is a very dear friend. I'm so happy to have you on, Jamie.
Yay!
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have so much to talk about.
Yes.
Because it's been a while, and I know that I've missed a couple things of late, so we have some catching up to do. But I like to always start with, first and foremost, where are you born?
I was born in San Francisco at the Presidio. Because my dad was stationed there. I was born at the hospital, Letterman Hospital.
What is the Presidio?
The Presidio now is where Lucasfilms is, but it's a gorgeous place in San Francisco, but it used to be an Army base.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, back in the 70s.
But now it's where Lucasfilms is.
Yeah.
The irony of that situation.
Yeah,
That's
kinda
kinda
cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Little fate, right?
Yeah.
Born there and now you're in the industry. Did you always know you wanted to be in the industry?
Yes. I
From
did.
what age?
Ever since I can remember. I grew up watching a ton of movies, a ton of musicals. My mom was always taking us to see whatever show was in town. I grew up in Phoenix. So it was something I always loved.
Yeah.
I loved the arts and going to see shows.
So from as far as you can remember.
Yeah.
And so you said you were born in San Francisco.
Yes.
But you were not raised there?
I was not. I was raised in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
So I lived there, grade school, high school, before I went to college.
What prompted that move from San Francisco to San?
Well, both my parents are from Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was stationed there, and
Got
then when he left, they just ended up back in Arizona.
So your father was in the military?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Just taking it by quick. Because that was a base then.
He was a doctor in the Army. Yeah.
Oh, he was a doctor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you have to be a specialized doctor in the Army, or how does that work?
I don't know.
You're like, I don't know, Danielle. It's okay. Sometimes. But he was a doctor in the Army, stationed at that base, and that's where you're born. And then you guys moved to Arizona after that. So you didn't go anywhere in between those two places.
We went to Oklahoma, but I don't remember. I don't know any of that life.
And then Arizona is where you landed.
Yes.
And you spent most of your life in Arizona?
Up until that point, yeah.
Okay.
I was raised there, yeah.
Did you come to LA after?
No, I went to school in Seattle. I went to the University of Washington.
Okay.
And then after school, I went home for like a year or two before I moved to LA.
What was it like growing up in your household with your family? And
well, there's 4 kids.
I was going to say, how many siblings?
Yeah, 4 kids. I was the third, so one of the middle children. We're going extinct, by the way.
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of the middle child, because a lot of families are having 1 or 2 kids, that the middle child is like a rare breed these days.
Okay, take it back though. Do you consider yourself a proper middle child because there was 4? Do you feel like the 2 middle children still have like middle? Is there a stereotype to being a middle child? And do you feel like
I feel like I'm a real stereotypical, like black sheep, middle child. Yes.
Okay. And would you say that your other sibling who's also a middle child, are they similar, kind of the black sheep as well?
No.
Not as much. Okay.
No. And I think probably because the youngest is like so much younger.
Got it. So is that why you're more of like the proper third child in between those top 3 before
guess. I guess I haven't thought about it.
It's
too
interesting.
much. Yeah, it is.
I do always
interesting.
love stereotypes. I've had an only child, a couple only children on here as well, and we talked about the stereotypes of being an only child and what that entails. But
Yeah.
so you are what you would consider the
middle
stereotypical
child. Yeah.
middle child.
Yeah.
But it's now people aren't doing it because they're not having 3 children.
Exactly.
So it's either they're having
crazy.
like 6 or having 1 or 2.
It's more like 1 or 2.
Yeah. Well, especially
Or
in
none.
LA.
Or none.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So many people, which I get it. I look at so many people without kids now that I'm a stepmom and I'm like, oh my God. I get it.
Child-free.
Child-free life. It's a real, it looks really appealing some days. But anyways, so you grew up 3 other siblings, family of 4. And did you all get along? What was that dynamic?
We did all get along. You know, for the most part, the oldest is a boy, our brother, and then there was 3 girls. And we all grew up, the girls grew up dancing, a lot of love, also a lot of pulling hair. You know, of
course.
I have a very hard head.
Yep.
But no, it was really, we had a really nice family.
I love that. And what did your mom do?
My mom worked at my dad's office. She was like the office manager. And then she was really a mom to us. Like she drove us everywhere. She was, you know, picked us up at school every day. So her life was, she built it around like being able to, also take care of us.
No, listen, a stay-at-home mom is a job.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Yeah.
It's not always an appreciated job, but it's absolutely a job. So she did that and worked at your dad's office.
Yeah.
And are they still together today?
No, my mom passed away when
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. She passed away in 2000. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And is your dad still in Arizona?
He's still in Arizona.
Okay. And do you get to, since it is so close to LA, do you get to go back very often?
I don't go back too often, but no, I do go back here and there. I still have like my brother's there with his family, and then I have, you know, my friends, high school friends.
Yeah.
So it's a nice place to visit.
Okay. And it's close,
It's close.
which is one of those nice perks too. Do you just drive? Oh, you probably fly. You drive.
No, we
Yeah.
love driving.
Okay.
We love also because we take our dogs with us to a lot of places. So if we can put them in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a lover of travel, which we will get to at some point.
And dogs. Always working into the conversation.
Did you grow up with dogs? Like, have you always been a lover of dogs?
Yeah, we had 2 dogs. Well, we had one dog, Rocky, and he died. He got out and got hit by a car.
Oh my God.
And then we had Romeo and Juliet. But my dogs, growing up, they couldn't come into the house. They had to stay in the kitchen or the backyard. And then now, like, the dogs have free range of our place.
Yeah.
So, like, I like love them even more.
Yeah,
now.
you're less strict than your parents.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Like, they're our children and not the pet.
Well, the pet loves that. Any dog that you bring into your house loves that. Because you also foster dogs.
I also foster dogs.
How many of your own?
2.
And what are their names?
Atticus and McMurphy.
I love their names so much. Like, such good dog names. And they fit them so well.
They do, yeah, because they're both named after characters in books, but like movies.
What is McMuffin?
McMurphy?
McMurphy.
Randall P. McMurphy.
Okay,
is
the last name.
from-
That's why I was like, character name McMurphy?
Yeah, Randall P. McMurphy.
I also love that I called him McMuffin.
McMuffin. He's from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Got it.
Jack Nicholson's character in the movie.
And then you fostered a bunch of dogs at this point?
Yeah, we've maybe fostered 7 or 8
Wow,
dogs.
it's already 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Oh my
lot.
gosh.
That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. People are always like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I would struggle.
How do you do it? But, you know, just by showing those dogs love and like showing them what a nice house is to like with love and with other dogs. And our other dogs being older, they teach them a lot. They teach them how to dog.
Yeah, yeah.
And then being able to
a great
like,
way.
you know, find them a home where they're going to be equally as loved. It's just like, it's beautiful.
I think that's the hard part, though, is the giving up part. Like, I would struggle with giving the dog up to somebody else.
We keep in touch with all
Oh, do
our
you?
yeah, we do, and we get pictures. And
Oh, I
you know,
love
one lives in Houston, one's in Boulder, others are in town. We dog sit for one of them a lot, so she's always over, and yeah,
So it's really kind of this community, too,
yeah,
that kind of gets created
Yeah.
through all of that. That's really special.
yeah. a lot of fun.
Really special. Okay, let's go back to your childhood a little bit. I like to know everyone's, you're like, I don't want to talk about childhood, your entire trajectory. So you just always knew you loved film and television.
Yes.
Do you remember some of those things you watched when you were younger?
100%. So I watched this film. Me and my mom would watch it together called I'll Do Anything. And it was with Nick Nolte and Jolie Richardson was in it. Nick Nolte was an actor, struggling actor who started working for a producer. And in that movie, like they're all sitting around, you know, the table, passing around headshots, talking about, you know, why this person should get cast, you know, or not. And I just was like, Mom, what are they doing? She's like, oh, that's like the casting session. There's a casting director that does the auditions. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool because I grew up obsessed with actors, like following them and like their trajectory. Leonardo DiCaprio on Growing Pains. Like there was just something so special about him. And then watching like where he went, like from like to like Basketball Diaries. I love that movie so much.
Same.
And then off to like Romeo and Juliet and then Titanic. You know, I would follow the career paths of a lot of actors. I was, you know, casting them, like just like in my head, like, oh, why did they get that part? Like, I don't think that's a good part for them. I remember in particular, I don't know the name of the actor, but he was like on Party of Five. And then he was in Leaving Las Vegas as like one of the bad guys that like rapes like Elizabeth Shue. It's like a terrible scene. And I'm like, I don't believe him in that role. I don't.
You're like, no, I would not have cast him in that role.
I wouldn't have cast him there. Like, no, he's not that. So yeah. And then I went to school. When I went to college, I studied acting. I got my degree in drama because I didn't have acting at my high school. It was an all-girls Catholic high school that didn't have a performing arts program.
You went to an all-girl Catholic school?
Yeah.
Did you grow up religious?
We did-ish. Like where, you know, I got baptized, confirmed.
Yeah.
We would go to church, not every Sunday, but mostly.
Yeah.
But it was a really good school. But yeah, no performing arts program. But I was a dancer too. So after school, you could you'd like do the drama group or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I was always dancing. So I never did acting in high school.
Got it.
So when I went to college, I studied acting and drama. I felt like I was very behind everyone else. Because like there were like all the cool like drama kids, you know, that knew all the plays and stuff like that. And I was like, who? Like, what is it? I wasn't as savvy with like the theater kids.
Neither am I, to be honest, but I didn't come from that world either. So I get the intimidation of that. Like anytime there was like the actual theater kids, I was like, oh, I don't fit in.
I'm
and
not
like,
cool enough.
I don't know who like, you know.
I don't know
any of these
is. I've never heard of the Cherry Orchard. Like, what are you talking about?
You're actually naming ones that I don't like would never probably even know about. But like even just knowing like Shakespeare back then, like I knew who he was, but I didn't know much. I mean, probably Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
was my first real like, oh, that's Shakespeare.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
I get it, and that can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
Did you go for dance as well? Because you went for performing arts and drama, or
no? I didn't take dance in college. But I did find a studio in Seattle. So I was still like dancing on the side.
Did you know going to drama school that you wanted to get into acting and casting director? Did you want to be an actress as well?
Ish. Like I did. Yeah. So that's why I took acting and drama and learned the casting director thing. You don't there's no class in college about casting, and certainly when I auditioned, it's just the director of the play that's doing the casting. I didn't know how to get into it until I moved here.
Okay, so there was did you verbalize that in college? Did you say I'd like to get into casting?
No.
Oh, you didn't. You just were like, okay, I'm going to take this route.
Yes.
Even though I really feel I gravitate towards casting.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. But that was your only way. You're like, how do I get to LA by becoming an actor, meaning going to school for drama?
Yes.
Okay, so it was a path.
Exactly.
It was the path you took. Why did you go to Seattle?
So I got into USC and UW. What? Those were the two schools I was deciding between.
Yeah.
My brother went to UW for business school. So
Okay.
we were going up to Seattle like my sophomore and junior year of high school. This is during the grunge, alternative rock. Everything cool was coming out of Seattle. Amazon had just started. It was that big .com boom. My final decision was like, well, I know I'm moving to LA. Like that's where I'm going to live.
Yeah.
So why not explore another part of the country because I'm able to and go to UW. And so that's why. And the college, the campus is just so gorgeous. Yeah, I'm really glad I did that. I know when I tell people I got into USC, they're like, wait, what? You got in USC and didn't go? And yes, I didn't go. Or no, I didn't go.
But I understand that too. Like also too, you got to really have a college experience outside of the culture of LA, which like you said, I mean, maybe you could have talked to people sooner and met people sooner, but like it's nice. I would say it's nice to have those college years, your 18, 19, 20, 21 outside of LA.
Yeah.
LA can be a pretty tough place.
It's a tough place.
Yeah.
And especially like where USC is.
Oh yeah.
It's a tough area.
It is.
And this was 20-something years ago.
So, it wasn't what it looks like now.
Yeah, it's not now. Like now it's like, oh my gosh, it's so great. But back then it wasn't so great. Yeah. And Seattle's such a walkable city and it's just so cool.
Did USC also have the same clout that it does now? Like I know now so many people are attached to it. So many big names, our own buildings, this is so-and-so's place. But back then, did it have as much? I mean, not back then.
It did, but I think maybe it wasn't as hard or competitive. I mean, college these days, from what I hear, is just so hard to get into.
That's what I understand. Yeah. From everybody
so,
I've heard.
I mean, my grades, I was a good student, but I wasn't honors or, anything like that. Yeah. So, and I got in. My SAT scores weren't great.
But do you think it was also just you as a person? Like your statement and stuff like that you had to do? Do you remember that?
It must have been.
So it's fascinating, but it
must have been.
But I love that you instead were like, no, I'm going to Washington.
I had my pro and my con list.
Oh, so you were like, I'm going to really play this out and make the right decision about what I'm going to do and not. And you went to Seattle. Yeah. And you loved it.
I loved it.
You left there with a degree in drama and knowing that you wanted to get into casting still.
That was like back burner. Really. It wasn't, I wasn't thinking about it like every day. Okay. I just knew I wanted to move to LA and start like finding my way here, which it takes a couple years before you figure things out. Yeah. This was before like the iPhone days. This is when I had my Thomas guide in my car, trying to see, I used to stare at this map that I had before I left the house to be like, okay, I need to go all the way over there.
To E5, and then J10, and then go to...
Yeah, I would look up MapQuest and write. I didn't have a printer. I would write out directions. Same. Yeah.
Same. A couple people have brought up Thomas Guide and MapQuest, and like, it was a real thing. And like, I look at the younger generation, I'm like, you'll never know what it was like. You'll never know. But I kind of loved it too. I kind of loved you had to know the streets more because you had to remember them.
Oh, I knew all the streets, from like Doheny all the way to Vine.
That's pretty impressive. So you came to LA. Do you remember where in LA did you live the first time you came down here?
I lived in Sherman Oaks.
Oh my God.
A friend of mine had an apartment that at the time he was living in Phoenix, but all of his stuff was still there. So he let me live at his apartment. I paid rent, but until he came back. Okay. So I was in Sherman Oaks for not a year, less than a year. And then I moved to North Hollywood. Okay. I lived with a friend there because she had a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay. She was on tour with Britney Spears a lot. Dancing.
So a dancer.
You're a dancer. And so I was there a lot of the time by myself because she would be on tour. And then when she came back, I found my own apartment in Hollywood. Amazing. And Hollywood was always where I wanted to live for some reason. So I lived in Hollywood by myself. And that was the first time I had my own apartment. I could see the Hollywood sign out my window. I was on the 3rd floor, and it was an artist building. So they had in the garage rehearsal studios for bands. So there were always bands rehearsing, which was nice because like coming home, you know, in my 20s by myself, I wasn't worried about like, you know, someone following me into the garage because there's always like people hanging out down there.
You felt safe.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool building, rooftop. I liked that place. But then I moved because my little sister moved here. So we found a 2-bedroom apartment together in Hollywood.
And did she come to LA to act as well?
No, I think her degree was in marketing. I don't know, but she got into that.
But she was wanting to move to LA.
Yes. Nothing.
Did you guys like living together?
Yeah, it was fun. We lived together for a couple of years. Yeah.
I always feel that either can make bonds grow or you want to torture or just torture each other.
Yeah.
Me and my sister did it for a while and we loved it. But then there were days when I was like, there's days when I'm like, I loved living with her and we got to make so many memories that we wouldn't have had otherwise. But then other days I'm like, I'm so happy we don't live together anymore.
Yeah. And I think because like my little sister, we're 6 years apart. So it's such a
difference.
Difference that it's like we're at different parts in our lives.
Yeah.
When we live together.
Different phases, basically. So that was your living journey where you moved from place to place.
Yeah.
Did you immediately try to get into acting and start reaching out to people?
I did. I actually had a dance agent.
Okay.
So my friend who I lived with in North Hollywood, she got me a meeting with her agent.
Okay.
They signed me. Like I took like a VHS of me dancing and we wanted to show them. And they were like, oh, yeah, everyone who comes from that studio in Phoenix is great. Yeah, we'll sign you. So I had a dance agent and I thought like I could use that to like get in with the theatrical side.
Got it.
But that didn't work. Okay. But I did have a commercial agent at one point, but I never had auditions and so really what I was doing, I was waiting tables, I was hosting at restaurants, I was, you know, just trying to make my rent. And that, you know, was a couple years. I would go on dance auditions. I never booked anything.
Really?
Yeah. It was big hip hop.
Okay.
At that time. And I just wasn't a hip hop dancer.
Got it.
You know, I'm like a jazz dancer and like
I was gonna say, what kind of dance was it? So mainly jazz?
Like jazz, lyrical.
Got it.
I ended up just like being like, what am I gonna do? And then there was this show that I was obsessed with called Grey's Anatomy. I would make sure I was home on Thursday nights. And lo and behold, a friend of a friend worked on the show. He was the casting associate for the show. And so I was like, oh my God, he does casting. That's what I want to do. So I had our mutual friend, Sarah, like, let's all like go see a movie together so I can talk to him. And I asked him about it. And do you guys need a casting assistant? And he was like, no, but if you find an internship, that's how you learn the business. You know, that's how you learn casting. So I was like, okay. So I found an internship.
With who?
With Kathy Sandridge. Yeah. Who's amazing. You know, she does The Pit now. She was working on a film called The Kingdom. Okay. And that was a Peter Berg directed film. And
I remember The
Jamie
Kingdom.
Foxx. And my first day working there, I was uploading auditions and sorting out headshots and typing the audition sessions. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. Like, this is what I want to do. I knew from the start. And even on days they wouldn't need me, I would be like, well, I can come in and alphabetize all the headshots. Like, I just wanted to be there all the time, answer the phone and learn all the names. And it was so much fun.
So you just loved it. You knew.
I did. I knew. I was like, I found it.
It's so fascinating that that's the route it took too. And do you feel that your background at that drama school and learning all of that has helped you be the amazing casting director you are today?
Yeah, I think so because, you know, just learning about theater and about acting and being present and all that sort of stuff helped me have an understanding for what actors do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it helped you. But in the end, you always knew casting was what it was going to be. And it just it seems like it kind of happened. Was it hard to
Yeah.
get that internship when you finally went after it?
No, not for
That's
me.
good.
Yeah, no, it
that's
was.
good.
I found it on the UTA job list.
Okay.
And I went in and interviewed, and yeah, they hired
you.
me, but you're working for free. It's,
Yeah.
and they don't do that anymore.
Good.
Good.
But, yeah.
Good. But then I don't know what to tell other people who are wanting to get into casting. I'm like, well, in my day, back in my day, you would intern, but you can't do that anymore. I loved working there. I love Kathy and the associate Jocelyn, and they started working on Generation Kill.
Yeah.
You remember that show?
Yep,
over,
I
like,
remember that
HBO?
one.
And
Yep.
there was like always these guys like in the hallway and coming in. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was on Grey's at the time, and they were casting a film called P.S. I Love You. And I was like, you have to. I'm like, you have to call in Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And they didn't really know who he was. And I'm like, oh my God, he's the hottest thing on. And then they called him in, and Kathy let me go into the room when she auditioned him, and I was so excited. And then he ended up booking the part.
Yeah, I remember.
So that was so exciting for me, because I'm like, wow, I had a little piece of that. I had a part in that.
But I also love to see who you cast, and I love to see what you're casting, because it's always perfectly cast. And we know so many projects out there that you watch and you're just like, what were they thinking? And you've just always had an eye for it. So anyways, I just wanted to add that little bit, which is obviously relevant because you just won Best Casting.
Oh, thank you.
And congratulations on that. We'll get to that as well, because I want to know all about that project. Going back to you're with Kathy, and you're playing a part, and you still love Grey's Anatomy.
And I still love Grey's Anatomy. An assistant job came up with Jane Jenkins and Janet Hershenson, who are just like old school. They did The Outsiders, one of my favorite movies, Princess Bride. Jocelyn, the associate, had worked for him, so she recommended me for the job. I went in and interviewed, and I got the job. So that was my first, paid casting job. And at the time, we were starting The Bucket List.
Such a good movie.
It's such a good movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and with Rob Reiner directing. So that was my first film that I worked on, where my name was in the credits at the end, and it all shot in LA. So that was exciting, because I would go to the producer sessions with Rob, and I would be, and Jane, and I would be running the camera, and it was so exciting. And one time, and this is still when you got headshots mailed to you, we get the big envelopes of headshots and sort through them. And Jane said to me, oh, here, go through here and pick out people who you think look like doctors. And I was like, okay, for the small doctor part. So I picked all those people, and then they picked someone from that. And again, I was like, oh my God, that guy got cast because I picked him from the pile of headshots, right? It was so fun. And he was actually a doctor.
So you did have an eye for it. You're like, pick the ones that look like doctors. He does, because he is one.
Because he is a doctor. And then I cast him later on Private Practice as a doctor.
He's like, I'm being typecast. You're like, but you are a good doctor.
You're a good doctor.
Yeah.
You're good at what you do.
Yeah. Well, luckily there's tons of doctor roles, so he's okay.
He's good. It was The Bucket List I worked on, and then Frost Nixon. That was a lot of fun. And then there was other small movies here and there. But then Will, bringing it back to my friend Will, who worked on Grey's.
Yeah.
I would keep checking in on that. And finally he was like, hey, we need a new casting assistant this year. And I was like, oh my gosh. He goes, do you want to interview for it? And I said, yes, I do. Because I learned so much I can't remember how many years I was with them, maybe 2 years I was with Jane and Janet. But I wanted to learn television because, I'm like, if this is going to be my career, I need to learn everything. And I got the job with Linda Lowy, and I was the casting assistant. And that's right when Private Practice first spun off from Grey's Anatomy. So it's the 4th season of Grey's, the 1st season of Private, and the 2nd season of Friday Night Lights. is when I started working there. And it was just like such a change going from a film office to all of a sudden a TV office that had 3 shows casting simultaneously. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot. You guys see a lot of actors. There's always people coming through the door, always new scripts coming in. It's very fast paced. And I picked it up really quick because then I got bumped up to the casting associate like maybe after a year of being there.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I loved that office. And we, that was like the Shondaland boom.
Did you have a preference between TV or film? Do you still today?
I like how fast television moves. And I especially like when you're on a series that you have so many opportunities to cast people, right? With film, that's not the same way. Like I've worked on films where I only need to cast 3 or 4 people, the main people here, but everyone else is going to be cast locally because they shoot out of town. With film, especially working at independent film, which I'm doing now, I get more of a say. There doesn't have to be all these approvals from the studio, the network, all the producers. It's really me and the director and producers like deciding together, which is a lot of fun.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But I see the pros and cons to both. It's interesting going back to that, going to which college you were going to. I can see the fast pacedness and getting to cast more roles, but then having more say in film. So
yeah,
it's nice though that you get to do both.
Yeah.
Right? That was that. Was that your face was like, look, that was the right word, right? It's film is okay. I was like, that's what I've said, right?
And we were doing both with Linda. Like when the shows would go on hiatus, we would sometimes be working on a film.
Okay.
We did Battleship and Lone Survivor.
So you did both.
Yeah.
It was the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Which a lot of casting directors do both, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
But at the time you kind of were like both, there were reasons you liked both for different reasons.
Yes.
But you love independent film now.
Yes.
And so was it kind of like a moment of like, oh, pinch myself. I'm working on Grey's Anatomy, the show that I'm obsessed with.
Yes. Yes. It really was. Like, and oh my gosh, it shoots on this lot. That was exciting. I remember one time Sandra Oh stopped by the office and I was like, oh my God, there's Christina Yang, She was so nice. It was a pinch me moment that I finally got to work on that show because that was the only show I was really watching on TV. When I moved here, I would watch Sex and the City reruns because I had all the DVD sets.
Yeah.
And I didn't have cable. So I would just watch that.
Reruns.
And then I finally got cable.
Yeah.
And I would watch Grey's Anatomy. So
did you continue to be like a diehard fan when you were on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched everything.
Do you still watch it today?
I don't.
You don't have. I was like, I think it's okay. I think I've heard also a lot of people are just like, it's still on. I was like, yes, it is.
No.
So a lot of people I think don't even remember.
I stopped watching it. Well, it also got to a point where there was like too much to watch just from our shows.
Yeah.
To stay up to date with all of them because we cast a lot at the same time. There was a point where I stopped working on Grey's because I was working on Station 19, Scandal or whatever the other shows were. I think that's probably when I stopped following it. But I still had to know who was being cast on it because it's the same worlds, Grey's and Station.
It's got to be hard too because when you're doing all that, you're trying to be on top of it and watch everything, but also that's so much to watch.
And then watch everything else on top of it. Watch all the other shows. Yeah.
Does it start to kind of not be as much fun?
Because your brain's always working.
Yeah.
When you're watching TV.
Is that what it's like? Like you're constantly, do you feel like you still do that? Like you're kind of watching things and the first thing you're kind of looking at is the casting and how the acting is and what you think. And maybe does your brain go like, they would be good in this.
Yes.
They would not. Okay, so that's the way your brain works.
And then sometimes I try and just watch a movie or a show and just like, let me just watch this and not worry about who this person and who that person is. Yeah. And then my husband will be like, what's the name of that actor? And I'm like, look it up if you don't know.
You're like, I'm not working right now.
I'm just trying to watch this.
Yeah. No, I've always said once you're in the industry, we're in it because we love it so much, obviously, and love films and television, but it becomes a job. And then there's times when you have to learn to figure out how do I turn my brain off. Because I would
Exactly.
say casting and acting, it's similar processing when you're watching, I would say, because you're looking at the performances, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
So it feels like a movie can be made or broken for me simply if the actor is good or bad, or the actors. Like if they're not good, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
like the script was good and yes, the makeup was and everything was.
Why did they cast him? Yeah.
So I feel
And
like
then I'm recasting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
So no, this is about you, not me. So then in your brain you go, this person would be better.
Yes. Like
Amazing.
I'll start playing the game like, who would I have cast in this part? You know, because I don't like this person in it. So like, let me see. And then I'll start playing that game. And like, especially with my husband, I'll be like, oh, couldn't you see so-and-so? Or and, yes, he would have been so much better. She would have been so much better.
What example do you have that comes to mind that you can think of that you were like, this should have been this person instead?
Oh, I don't
Do you have anyone?
say.
Oh, it's fine. Like, but here's the thing. Anyone getting cast, I mean, if they're taking it personally, it's like, come on, guys. But anyone getting cast, they got the job, they got paid. The movie might have still been successful, the one you're mentioning. But in your mind, you're like, I would have cast this person. And I'm sure it makes that actor feel good that was like.
No, well, I'm trying to remember who I said I would have cast. But there was like, I watched this show called Black Rabbit.
Oh, yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah, with Jude Law, Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
I didn't love Jason Bateman in the part. And I'm a big Jason Bateman
Same.
fan. I didn't like him in that part. I just was like, it's taking me out of it a little bit.
And it's interesting what it's like because all I could think is I saw a trailer for it and I didn't gravitate towards it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wonder if that's what it was. Because it felt like Ozarky, but I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, like, and they're brothers, and he's like the brother who is like the problematic brother.
It just didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so intrigued now to watch it and be like, so who would you have cast?
Oh my gosh, I can't even, I don't know. I can't even think of who we were saying, but that I just remember that's the most recent show where it took me out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, it's not the right person.
It's not. No.
I mean, it happens. It's interesting. As a casting director, sometimes have you made the mistake and cast the wrong person? Does it happen?
No. I mean,
fantastic.
No, I mean,
it was honestly a question that just came to mind. I was like, wait a second. Do you ever feel like you've
I haven't, but has the wrong person played the part because like the person we wanted didn't end up getting approved or for whatever reason? Yes, that has happened.
Elaborate on that, Jamie, because from an actor's perspective,
you know, sometimes we really see the role as this person, but for whatever reason, the producers or the studio and network are like, oh no, we need a bigger name, we need someone fancier in the part, and then so we'll have to cast someone else. But what I say now that I'm on my own with my own projects is like, I really want to put out there that the right person is always going to play the part. So whatever happens, and I've had a few examples of this happening. Yeah. Because I really try and put that out in the universe so that is what happens. Like the right person gets the role. I was working on a feature last summer. We were looking for the love interest for the lead. It's a gay rom-com. And the lead of the film is also the writer. And he's been working on this project for 17 years on this script. Yeah. There were two actors who it was like down to. And John, who was the lead, really liked this one actor. But for me, I was like, oh, I like this other guy better. Yeah. And then we did a chemistry read and he offered him the part in the room. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. Like, I wish there would have been a conversation, but okay, well, this is who he wants. This is his baby. Yeah. Okay. We still have this actor over here. Okay. But then he has the part now. Well, then the actor who got the part ended up booking something else that was like a bigger part, or it was on Netflix or something like that. So his manager, which like, you know, we never love, called me and was like, he booked a part. I'm like, well, why did you say he was available? He's not available. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. He ended up taking the other part. Yeah. And I was like, well, then we go with this guy. And me and the director, Nell. Yes. You worked on this film.
Yes, I did.
We were like, oh, well, we still have Colin. And so, and I checked, and he was actually in London at the time, but he was going to be back. And then he was cast, and John was like, "You were right. Like, Colin is so great." And I just was like, the right person is playing the part. Yeah.
It's so great to hear that from your perspective too. You hear that over the years. You hear stories of so many people get cast and then they're like, someone had to fall out or someone couldn't do it. It's like the famous story of Tom Selleck was offered Indiana Jones.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know, or don't quote me on this one, but from what I remember is Julia Roberts was like the third choice for Pretty Woman.
Oh, wow.
And so you hear that constantly. And I do agree with, there is that element of like, there is always, you're probably like the right person. As an actor, that's always hard because you're like,
yeah,
it's a completely different world, but it's true. And I think you have to give into that because I do think there's something bigger at play that at the end, everyone puts their talent forward, casting directors, actors. And in the end, it's kind of up to the universe in some weird way to kind of be like that situation, you're the one.
Yeah.
Even though you were like, no. But then in the end, it worked out. The best person got the part.
Yeah. But
out of your control.
It's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
But it's like the person who's meant to play the part gets it.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone wants to be right for the part. And they are. And they are. It's
Not
just
everyone's
like,
right.
Well, not everybody. But when you get down to like
the last
few. But it's just like, then it's like, what story is that going to tell? How is that going to change the tone? Like when Eric Stoltz was the original Back to the Future guy, you know, and then that was just a different tone. And so they recast him with Michael J. Fox. And, you know, that stuff happens
all the time.
All the time. And I know it's like so heartbreaking when, you know, if an actor gets recast, that's like, that's what I hate. But if an actor goes to do a bigger thing and then like, then I'm like, okay, well, everybody wins in this case.
Yeah. No, recasting too. Have you been a part of a recasting before?
I have.
Is that like, explain that? Explain. You don't have to explain the specific situation, obviously, but explain what that's,
it's like for whatever happens, I've had it happen. Well, like not me personally, but like our office had it happen like after a pilot was shot. That happened a few times where for whatever reason, the network, that person didn't pop or that wasn't the story we wanted to tell. So then we'll have to recast that role and they reshoot it. Or I've had people, I had one time someone get recast after the table read of a pilot. So, and it wasn't a series regular, it was one of the guest stars. The producers just didn't, like, again, I don't think he popped enough. And this was like the pilot episode. So they wanted to recast him. So it is heartbreaking. I never want to recast an actor, but it is part of my job. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't like to make those phone calls.
Luckily, is there a part of it that you can step away from it because you're not the one making that decision? You would never be the one making the decision to do that.
Exactly. So. I'm just the messenger in a lot of cases.
It's got to be hard though as a casting director. How do you know who to audition? I mean, there's thousands of people in this city, probably more than that. That are trying to break in and make their way. I mean, how do you spot someone who's talented? How do you know, like, this person is somebody I want to see?
That's a really great question that I get asked a lot because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
When I go through the breakdown submissions, when I'm looking at the hundreds, thousands of actors, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about the character. Like I'll often like reread the breakdown that I put out, you know, because it's listed at the top and I'm being like, wait, what am I looking for again? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. So then there might just be like key characteristics or elements or something that catches my eye from the headshot. Most important part of, you know, that's your biggest tool. It catches my eye and then I'll look into that actor a little bit more. I'll look at their other pictures. I'll look at their resume. And depending on what the role is, the resume might not matter that much. Like if it's just someone who needs to say one line, I'm not looking for a ton of credits.
Got it.
But I am looking for training and, experience. That was one of my favorite parts in television, was giving actors their first role, like their first major co-star.
Yeah.
Because if the line was, are you finished? Right. Like, I don't want to give that to someone who's like worked on 10 shows before. Like, let me give people who haven't had the chance yet to come in and say that line, and then they get cast, and that's, and then they're off on in their career. They have a co-star on a big TV show. So that's like, I'd like to help in that way. Once I look at their resumes, and then I just am like, yeah, let's see them. Or I'll be like, if I'm not sure, like, I really listen to my body. I listen to my intuition, my inner voice. And sometimes it's like, maybe. And so then I mark them, I put them in my maybe pile with the numbers. And then I go back and look at everybody. And if I have too many, maybe I'll take some out. Or if I don't have that enough, and I'll put the maybes in. And so it's like not really one thing. It's really just my instinct.
Which is impressive, but also so scary.
Yeah.
It's because you have this power. I mean, what I think people don't realize, and I'm always so shocked that the Oscars just gave out their first Oscar for casting.
I know.
Because I'm like, do you realize that every project, I mean, I get it starts at the script and the director and the vision, but one of the first things you have to accomplish is casting. It's such a pivotal part and kind of a make or break, in my opinion. I mean, some people can watch movies with horrible acting. I can't do it, but it's make or break. And it's so fascinating to me that casting only recently is getting the recognition it deserves, because you kind of hold the keys to the castle. Like, no one sees. I mean, of course, if people know the producers or the directors or agents have connections, then sometimes they bypass casting, from what I understand.
Yes, true.
But that's rare. I mean, everyone goes through casting one way or another. So you're kind of the ones holding the keys to be like, oh, you'd like to audition for this role. It's up to me if I think that you are right for it, if my intuition says you're right for it. And that's got to be this. Do you feel pressure or any anxiety over having that?
No.
Because you know you're good at it.
Well, and here's the thing: is like if agents and managers call and they're like, "No, you have to see this person for the role," I'll be like, "Okay, all right, yeah." And times they've been right, and that person has gotten the part. I'm not relying solely on, but that's just like when I go through, and then I look at everything. Like when we would do pilots, I would let everyone tape. Who, like, if agents or managers was like, "Please, you have to see this person," I'd be like, "Okay, yeah." Have them tape. There's just so many people out there. Why not give this person a chance? Because I don't want to like look over talent that maybe I don't see when I first like sit down and look at the submission. But if they're willing to try it, then I will be happy to look at it. So
that's
I
a great.
that a lot.
I mean, would you say every casting director is like that though?
Probably not. No.
I was gonna say. I was like,
I know some that aren't. Yeah.
Again, I think it's a testament to how much you love it, because you really do. You're willing to go, bring them in. Let me see them. Yeah. You're willing to be open to that.
Yeah. Because if they're that passionate about getting their client in, well, then let me see it.
Yeah.
Let me see if you're right, and they are sometimes, and again, it's just that's part of my job, is just to be open to seeing actors from everywhere.
But it's beautiful that you do that, because a lot of people, from my own experience, it's like, no, we don't want to see that person, as much as somebody might be like they're right for it. And if you don't get a shot at it, I mean, there's no way you're going to get it if you don't get a shot. And it's just, I think it's just really amazing. I think it's really beautiful that you give people the shot that they're due.
Yeah.
Because that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Going back. So you got this dream job. You're on Grey's. You're casting Grey's Anatomy. You're casting Private Practice. You're casting Friday Night Lights. You're casting then Station 19. You're all the Shondaland shows as well. So that's How to Get Away with Murder. Scandal. What am I forgetting?
There was like Off the Map.
Yes.
There was The Catch.
Yep.
Well, there was one called Inside the Box, I think. That was a pilot. It didn't get picked up.
Okay.
I think that's what it was called. But it was a Shondaland. What else am I forgetting?
I know. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Oh, Still Star-Crossed.
That was was that the earlier one?
No, that was a later one. That was with Lashana Lynch, who is now in 007. And, you know, she's a huge star now. Yeah. It was a short-lived series. It was like maybe 10 episodes.
But isn't that also the amazing thing about this industry? Like, I always think back to like Pan Am when Margot Robbie, because I tested for one of the roles in Pan Am, and I remember Margot Robbie got cast in that role, and she was like, no one really knew who she was. And that show, even though it was, everyone was talking about it, it was supposed to be this great show, it lasted a very short period of time. Did it even go a full season?
I don't remember. It was short.
It was quick. And look at her now.
Yes.
Like, I'll never forget it, because a lot of times I feel like, wasn't that always kind of the trajectory that actors that have failed TV shows, like, there's so many of them that end up going on to be movie stars.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, they're great. They're talented. That was a great show, but they're meant to be in film.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting that you said that about that too. So she went on to do stuff short. It was one of the shorter running Shondaland shows.
Yeah.
You got to do all of that and be part of that world. What? Tell me more about that. How was that? How did that play out? What did you learn about yourself and about as a casting director as you moved up?
I was an assistant when I started there, and then I was an associate.
So started at no more internships. You were because you had gone from Kathy to
Jane and Janet.
Yep. And so by this point, assistant, and then after a year was casting associate.
Yeah.
And then what was the
casting director?
And at what point did that happen?
So I was an associate for a long time, like the pilot of Scandal, the pilot of How to Get Away with Murder. I worked on everything, and it was a lot to stay on top of. It was a lot, especially during pilot season, because then we'd be on 5 shows.
Yeah.
Eventually after, God, I wish I knew the years, but it was when The Catch, I worked on that pilot, and Linda told me, if this pilot gets picked up, I'm going to put you on as the casting director. And then it got picked up, and so that was my first show. The Catch was your first show? Yes, as casting director. Yeah. And so that show was, you know, so special to me because I was casting it. And Alan Heinberg was a showrunner who I love. And then after that show, that's when Still Star-Crossed came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really at the didn't remember that being at the end.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something else.
It was towards the end. Okay. And I had taken over on Scandal as well. So and Station 19. Hi, how can I?
Well, that happened after The Catch, right? Because that was Jay came from The Catch.
Exactly.
So there was that thread.
Yes. Yeah. So after The Catch, then it was Station 19. Then there was that spinoff. So I was casting director on that. And then I think it was Still Star-Crossed. I can't remember.
Was Still Star-Crossed after For the People?
Oh, For the People. Yeah,
there's another was at the same time.
Yes, which I didn't do. I wasn't on the first season.
Okay,
but I did the second season. Of For the People.
I knew there was one because I was like, there was one that came out at the same time as Station 19. Yeah, and it was For the People. So grateful to you for casting me as Maya Bishop because obviously it changed my life and obviously so many amazing memories, and I was able to bring a character to life that is loved and adored by so many, but also as an actor, I was able to become a better actor. I mean, I grew so much in 7 years getting to do all that. And that, as I said earlier, casting directors hold kind of the keys to the castle. I mean, it started with being allowed to be in the room.
And the right person played the part. See? Thanks. We didn't cast that early round because it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Everything does always happen for a reason, even though sometimes it's hard to sometimes figure that out. What did you think is the hardest part about casting, in your opinion?
Sometimes it's hard when your vision doesn't line up with the director or the producer's vision. You know, maybe you take some chances, or maybe you think you found the perfect person and then they're like, no. And then you're like, what? Why didn't you like, and then, and especially when they can't nail it, you know, because they might be like, I don't know what it is about this person. Just, no, find someone else. And you're like, what? You know, so then you have to go back and do it like a whole new round, you know, kind of like what happened with Maya.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, oh, really? We were quite surprised, but it wasn't meant to be. So then you go back to the drawing board and so that can happen a lot.
Why do you think those reasons are? Like, why would you say that's one of the reasons that sometimes they go, this isn't right? Could it just be they're having a bad day?
No. Well, you mean the producers having a bad day? Possibly, but I don't know. I think maybe because they have a vision in their head, or there might be, a prototype that they have, and then they can't see outside of that. I'm not sure, but I don't ask too many questions. I'll ask more about like, well, what didn't you see that I need to look for?
Yeah.
You can change their minds sometimes, but if they're very much, no, this isn't who I want, I'm not going to argue, right? Because it's not my job to sit and argue. Now, I will fight for actors, but if that's not going anywhere, then what will sometimes happen is like, okay, let me just put this actor on hold. It's like, I'm not going to fight now. Let me do another round. And then it's happened before where like another round comes up and they didn't like anyone else. And then we'll revisit that original person. Right. And then they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Or something like that, That doesn't happen too often, but like everything happens. I'm sure if you give me a scenario, I could be like, yes, that's happened before.
And what do you mean by everything happens? Like anything, like certain things go down in different ways. Like there's a million different outcomes.
Like if you ask me, has it ever happened where, someone got fired and then you rehired? Or has it ever happened where, when you gave me different scenarios, I can think of yes, that has happened.
That has happened.
Because casting's crazy. And we're like dealing with people. Right. And that's the hardest part of it.
Which ones? Which people?
Yeah. Like when we're dealing with actors, like they're human beings.
Yeah.
And so like I always try and act with as much care and compassion because these are actors' lives. Yeah. And you're putting yourself out there.
Have you ever had a bad experience with an actor in the room or a producer in the room?
Yeah.
And what happened? You don't have to obviously. Don't say who they are, but what happened? What was the scenario that happened?
But there was one show we were working on where one of the producers was on his phone the whole time when the actor was in the room.
No.
Yes. And he would like get up and like leave the room to take a call. And like, he was just like, again, we're dealing with people. We're dealing with humans. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So that has happened before. I've had actors yell at me in the room. Yeah.
Why? For what reason?
Because I was breaking eye contact because I was reading. So I was a reader, and he didn't like how much I was looking down. And I would also look at the camera because I even remember in particular this guy was like moving around a lot, and you have to kind of stay in your little box when I'm taping you. Yeah. And he's moving around a lot. And so I had to keep kind of adjusting the camera and read the notes. And he was like, can you do me a favor? Can you just stop looking at the camera and just look at me? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, you're moving around a lot, so if you could, but it was, I was like, wow, okay.
Someone like that, though, nothing's happening with that tape.
No.
That person's not going anywhere.
No.
You can't yell at the casting director.
No, that tape didn't go anywhere.
But you are dealing with a lot of different personalities. You are the gatekeeper of letting the actors in. You're dealing with the agents, the managers, you deal with the actors in the rooms, and then you deal with the producers and the directors and the studio execs and every single person. And you're trying to appeal and appease everyone while still being creative and finding the best actor.
I mean, when you put it like that.
Your face, it felt like just recognized that for the first time. Like, yeah, that is what we're doing.
Oh my God, that's so daunting.
Well, it goes back to why I say it's just crazy to me that it's something that hasn't been given the respect it deserves in regards to even winning an Oscar, because your job is what I would consider actually one of the hardest, because you are almost the bridge between actors or creatives and execs are business. And you are the bridge between these two people, these two mindsets.
Yeah.
Trying to find a solution to make everyone happy. You're kind of a mediator almost.
Yeah.
And then also you're dealing with a person that's dream in life is to be a working actor. I know you are an empathetic person. I just know you. That pulls at your heartstrings, I'm assuming, at times, to be like, I feel for these actors. I want to be able to give every actor a shot, just like you love to give them that one line in a co-star.
Yes.
But that's just not the case sometimes.
Yeah, only one person gets picked.
Which is sad to me. Because you want,
Sad. I know. know.
It would be so cool if they did a version of a movie where they did it with 3 different casts. Like you did a movie and then you recast it with a different cast and you recast another cast. And they probably all 3 would be great movies.
Oh, you're onto something.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
Because they'd all probably be great.
Yeah.
Just completely different. And that's what you're saying is like, it's who's right for that role, for that tone, for that vibe, for whatever the show's going for. What are you doing now? Station 19 has ended. You've moved on from casting there and you ventured out on your own.
Yes.
And what has that been like since you've been casting on your own?
It's really been nice. I went off on my own in 2020, which the pandemic, and that actually gave me an opportunity to like not feel so much pressure and rushed into finding like a new project because I couldn't. Because
nothing was going on.
Because nothing was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time is when I started working one-on-one with actors just during the pandemic to stay busy.
Yeah.
I would have actors sign up and it was like donation based. Or I would do...
Eat some crackers.
Yeah. I would do like pay what you can, you know, for these little sessions where I'd send actors sides and then we would like work for 15, 20 minutes on sides just to stay busy.
Yeah.
And after like a year or so of doing that, I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. And so I created my website. At the time, I was like, you know, because in-person auditions might not go back.
They haven't.
They haven't. And so I love coaching actors and helping them with their auditions. And besides that, I do consultations because I'm able to like look at their materials and be like, no, not that headshot, or move this on your resume, or change that, do this. Because, you know, a lot of actors don't know. And also, I'm always surprised, like, your reps didn't tell you this. Like, you know, those that have reps. And I'm like, wait, why is your resume set up like that? You should change it to this way. And so...
We need to talk after this.
So I just love helping actors. So that's been nice. So I've been doing that. And then I've been doing, you know, indie features. I do a lot of short films through the Latino Film Institute. They have a program called the Youth Cinema Project where they teach in high schools like all the aspects of being on set. And last year I cast the film because they do a short film.
Yeah.
And there's all these mentees, like there's a director, mentee, writer, you know, they write the script, they're on set. And so last year I cast the movie. And this year I actually got to be a mentor and I had my own casting mentee. So that was so much fun. And we did this short film and then it will premiere at La Leaf, which is Latino Film Festival at the end of May.
But also amazing that exists because like when you were younger and you were like, I want to get into casting, nothing like that even existed.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. And so my mentee, Olivia, she thought she wanted to be, because I talked to all the mentees before and I'm like, this is what a casting director does.
Yeah. Does that interest
you? And then
you?
they got to decide like who they wanted to be a potential mentee with. And she was like not sure between producer and casting director. So then she ended up coming with me. And then for the second half, she was with the producers because I'm only the first half of the movie, you know, and then my job's done. But when we were working together casting, I mean, I put out the breakdown. We went through it on Zoom together and be like, okay, pick which one, you know, pick who you want to see more of. And and I really let her decide. I mean, there were some people where she'd be like, oh, not that person. I'm like, well, let's give that person a chance, you know.
And did she say why maybe she didn't choose that person?
Yeah, you know, and there might have been things like, oh, I don't like the way they look. And I'd be like, well, but that's okay. You don't, you know, not everyone's going to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So I was teaching her. And then the same thing, when the auditions came in, we watched them all together and she would have her opinion about who we would pass on to the directors, the mentor and the mentee. Yeah, and then she loved it. And she's like, this is really, I don't want to do producing anymore. I really want to do casting.
I love that. That's got to feel nice and rewarding though, too, that you're like, I mentored her and she wants to do it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love that though. And I love that exists, that you're being a part of it. You are somebody who really does, I keep saying it, keep sounding like a broken record. Like you just love it and it shows. The short, you just won an award, the best casting. No, that was a short film? And how did that come about, and what was that about?
Well, that was through AFI. It was American Film Institute thesis project. And Alex Villarreal, he reached out to me and I interviewed for the part.
Okay.
Or, you know, to get for the job, rather. It's about an abuela and her grandson. The mother has just died recently. We don't know why. They're together. She's telling him a story about La Bruja, the witch, but it's a good witch, about the magic that this witch has. And in the meantime, there's a raid in the neighborhood and they go into hiding. There's all of a sudden like the witch is out and like opens this entrance for them and they get out and there's the witch that's like leading them through the forest to escape, and that ends up being the mom. And so it was the mother that helped them get out. Yeah, and escape. It cuts from, the reality to like the fantasy.
Yeah.
And the way Alex did it is just so beautiful. And I connected to the story because I'm Mexican American and I grew up with my Nana. She was a very big part of my life, of our life. She would take care of us a lot, always cooking for us. And I just connected with that. It was funny because when I was talking to Alex during the interview, I showed him one of my candles with, I forget which one, but it was like, the guardian angel. And I was like, look what I have. I just lit this while I was reading your script. And he was like, that's what did it for me. It was like that you had that candle. Because that candle's in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it was just like meant to be.
The sign.
So I cast the abuela, who's Elena Campbell Martinez, who I've worked with before. And she's just so great. We had to find the little boy who's now like, I think he's 16 or something. Because we did this in 2023. And then Priscilliana Esperolini, I always trip over the name. She is someone that I've loved forever. We actually tested her on Off the Map.
I know that.
And she didn't get that part, but I've always kind of followed her career because I think she's so great. So she plays the mom in La Bruja. And so I cast those three and it was magic. And then me winning really was magic.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's pretty special. And it feels like things like that, I'm sure, are moments you're like, I am good at what I do. I'm damn good at what I do. It's like the validation,
some recognition.
Finally. What's next from here? What are you casting now, or what are you looking forward to casting next? Or do you have any like, this is what I'd love to cast next?
Oh, I always have those.
Yeah?
Like I would love to work on a focus feature film. I love those movies. Or
like what? Can you give me examples?
Oh my gosh. Well, just like those films that I grew up with. I think I believe Shakespeare in Love might have been a focus feature, maybe not. Oh my gosh. Or I know Gwyneth was a focus feature film. There was a movie theater in Scottsdale that played all the more like art house movies, and a lot of them were focus features. So that's just like, it was always in my head.
Yeah, it was a dream.
As a dream. I would love to work on a TV show again. Maybe not one is in the hospital or something like that, but I like, but I listen, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do when the Pink Ladies had like that show for a second. I think it was on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
Because I was so obsessed with Grease. I emailed them and I was like, oh my gosh, please, can I get an interview? I didn't, but that's okay. Yeah. The Rise of the Pink Ladies, that's what it was. So something fun like that. And just growing up with dance and music in my life, that would just be a dream. Like if they ever remade Xanadu or like made that into a TV show, please let me work on that, please. That's one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Yes, Xanadu. Have you seen it? Oh my God.
No, I need to. Maybe this is something we have to do. We need to watch it together.
We can watch it together and then go roller skating.
Yes.
At
which you did at your last birthday, the one I missed.
Yeah.
I would love that. I love that you're also incorporating the other passions of your life. Do you still dance at all? Did you still continue to dance at all?
Yeah, I still dance. There's a class I go to on Sundays sometimes, but not nearly as much. But really, yoga is what I do a lot of, which I love.
Yeah.
And that to me becomes a dance. Like once you're in like flowing through, I really feel like it's like I'm dancing.
You're pretty amazing to watch doing yoga. You encouraged me to do a yoga retreat in Italy. which didn't necessarily turn out how we planned.
No.
But that being said, you really got me into yoga, and that was my first kind of time being immersed in it and doing yoga. And I didn't see you do yoga that time.
No.
But I have seen
I got COVID.
and you were quarantined.
I was quarantined.
To a building, which we all just waved at you outside the window. I met amazing friends. I met all of your friends, which I think we're now all friends kind of for life, I would hope. I'm like I'm on the outskirts, on the outside of it. So I'm always like, I think we are.
Yeah.
I met amazing women. You're surrounded by some amazing women, and you got me into yoga, which I keep wanting to do more and more. But that was kind of that was the moment. Even though you're like, come do this yoga retreat, I'm like, Jamie, I don't really do yoga.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, but come, because I think you were looking for a place to go. Like
I was
after you were traveling, and I'm like, then come to Italy.
Yep,
come on.
And it was one of those things that the dates worked out perfectly. And I am a believer of if it's meant to be. And so the dates worked out, and I was like, okay, I'll be there. But I've watched you going back to your yoga. Like we've now done yoga together, and I've watched you, and it's very impressive. So it makes sense that you have now done 200 hours.
Yeah.
Yoga master.
Well, I don't know about master.
Oh, did I add the master?
You did, but that's okay.
Take it.
I am taking it. But I went to Thailand last summer and got my yoga teacher certification, which I don't teach anywhere.
Okay.
But I have done in town, and I'm going to start doing them out of town, actor wellness retreats.
Oh.
That incorporates yoga. So I've done a few in town, and so I'll teach yoga, but it's more about, connecting with that inner voice and trusting yourself, because you don't have casting in the room with you anymore. Who are you going to listen to? Well, you don't want to listen to your ego, but your ego is so loud. Right? Your ego can drown out your inner voice. And so I'm trying to help artists to listen to their inner voice, because it really is a whisper, but it's always guiding you in the right direction. So by doing these like actor wellness retreats, it's some of that, and like it's also things that you can do to help with your own mental health in this industry, because this is a hard business to be in.
Yeah.
You work so hard with little reward. But when you get that reward, it's like amazing. That's why people love doing it so much. That time you get to be on set, that's like incredible. So, I mean, that's the drug of it, right?
Yeah.
So, but you have to work really hard to get there. It's a lot of no's. It's a lot of not hearing anything. Yeah. So you have to like love yourself and want to do it and have that passion to stay in it. So that's why I got my yoga certification. So I didn't feel like a phony when I was teaching yoga.
But that's a really beautiful thing that you're doing with these actor kind of, what did you call them? Actor yoga?
Wellness retreats.
Wellness retreats. Oh my gosh. Like that spoke volumes to me just now, and 100% is necessary. I love that you're doing that. And now that you said you're going Australia? And how did that come about?
A woman I work with she brings international actors to LA twice a year. Okay. Like there's been actors from like London and Australia mainly. But they come here, sometimes Ireland, and they're here for 10 days, I think. And so I come and teach a workshop to them. Okay. So her and I became friends. We've been doing it together for 5 years. And she said, I've been wanting to bring a casting director to Australia and do an Australia tour. Yeah. Would you be interested? I was like, 100%. So that was just like, I think we put it together in October. And here I'm leaving in less than 2 weeks. And we're going to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth. Wow. I'm teaching workshops to all these actors all over. And then at the end, we're going to Bali, her and I.
Oh, wow.
We're staying at Wellness Resort, which, because we're also going to look at it for doing a possible retreat there together next year. Yeah. Yeah. So, save the date.
Please. I want to be there. Yeah. I'll be first to sign up for it.
Yeah. With breath work, yoga.
It's so important.
Acting.
Like all the stuff you're talking about, especially at a time now when it feels like everyone's like, I got to get a job. It feels like you need to be reminded to center yourself and connect with the ground and not let your ego listen. And it was beautiful how you said like your inner voice is like a whisper. And I love what you're doing. I know I sound like a broken record, but I do. I think you're an amazing casting director, and the stuff you're doing with the wellness retreats and teaching and passing on your knowledge of acting to actors and your willingness to do it. I mean, even me, you've looked at stuff and you're like, why is this the only picture you have up on your page? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, we need to talk about this. Yeah. So I think you're just someone who really does love the arts, and it shows. Is there anything looking back you would do differently about your entire career you've had so far? Is there anything you'd go back and say, I wish I'd done this?
I wish I'd gotten my SAG card at some point.
Did you get acting jobs?
No, but remember when before SAG and AFTRA
merged?
Yeah. Like I wish I would have joined AFTRA. So then I would have been like grandmothered into SAG-AFTRA, because I always want to like have a little line in one of, and I am a bit of an Easter egg. Like in my Dead Friend Zoe, I'm in the background, and then I have another movie coming out, Fade to Black, and like there's a panel of 3 people. It's like a writer's panel. Yeah. And the producers were like, we need an extra. So we have a 3rd person on the panel. A white woman would be great, a professional like in her 30s or 40s. And I like sent them my picture. I'm like, how about this girl? They're like, yes. So I'm up there on the panel. I mean, I don't have any lines.
But I was like, Jamie, you have like direct access to get these parts. Like,
I know, but I don't have my SAG card, so I'd have to like get a Taft-Hartley or something. But
I think this has to be a goal that you set, that you're going to get your SAG card at some point, even if it is Taft-Hartley'd in. Yeah. Like you're going to do it.
I do, because I would say back when like we would need to cast someone in their like 70s or 80s, and we would have all these older people in the waiting room, and they're all friends, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. Once I retire from this, I just want to be like someone coming in for like one line. But now I'm like, well, I could do that now.
Yeah, you could do that now. I was like, yes, you can. And you have direct access.
I wish I had my SAG card already.
And then you could do it.
And then I could do it. But,
well, I'm putting it out there that it's going to happen.
Yeah. But other than that, no, I don't.
Great.
Everything has been great.
And where do you see yourself going from here? Obviously, you've already listed so many things you are doing in the near future, but where do you see yourself in your career in 5, 10, 50 years? Is there a goal that you set that you'd like to achieve besides working for Focus Features?
Yeah, well, I would love to win an Oscar. Yeah. I'd love to win an Emmy. I'd love to be nominated again. I'd love to be nominated for an Oscar. So I just really want to continue to do projects that I'm passionate about. I have turned down things here and there, but that's because if I don't connect to the story, then I'm not going to really know how to cast it, right? Yeah. Like my heart has to be in it.
So true.
To be passionate about it, because with indie films, I have to sell them. Yep. I'm used to being the buyer, right? Where everyone's pitching their clients because they want to be on Scandal, Grey's, all that. But no, in indie world, you have to be the seller. You're like pitching the project, trying to get these actors to come in on like projects that don't pay a lot of money.
That's so true.
So they have to be, so if I have to sell that and I want the actor to be passionate about it, I need, how am I going to sell that if I'm like, here's a project, I'm not, I'm not connected to it. That's really important to me. So I just really want to continue doing great work. And hopefully I'm attracting, I want to attract like-minded people, and I want to work with good people. So I've been lucky where like the universe has brought those people to me. So I hope to continue doing that, traveling, as I love to do. And if I can travel and teach, that's amazing. I was just in Cincinnati at CCM teaching those juniors and seniors in the drama department.
Oh, wow.
So that was so exciting. So I love like being able to travel more and work at the same time.
And you're giving a commencement speech.
Oh my God, I am. At where I went to school, at the School of Drama. I was asked to be the commencement speaker. So I'll be going to Seattle in June to do that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then from there, I go to New York and watch a lot of Broadway. And
You do love theater.
I do.
Do you ever want to cast theater? I think
I do.
Have you ever cast theater?
I did a show. I did
Oh.
the KCT produced.
That's right. Oh,
Yeah, the immersive show at the Oviatt Theater.
That was I want them to bring that back so badly.
Yeah,
It
that was
so good.
It was so fun, and I'll with Drew's theater company in-house, I'll help out with that as well. So,
And Drew's your husband. We never talked about this.
oh yeah, Drew's my husband, who's a great actor. So I'm also married to an actor. So I'm, very passionate.
Yes.
And loving towards actors because I know from the other side of it,
You're like
all the hard work that goes into it.
You're like, so much I married one. Yeah, you do get to see it from that perspective, which I will say gives you, like, I've obviously asked you to put me on tape for auditions before, and the whole setup at your house that Drew has set up, and you guys, the lights and everything, like, it really is great that you get to see it from that perspective too.
Yeah.
And that you're so understanding and that you just love it, as does Drew. You guys are both so passionate about it all, and it shows. For those that have watched Station 19, Drew plays Finch on Station 19. You can see him on many, many, many other things.
Yeah.
But just a little tidbit in case people are wondering.
Who's Drew? And he was just on RJ Decker.
Oh my God, that's right. You went to North Carolina.
I went to North Carolina with him.
Has this episode aired yet?
Yeah, it was episode 3.
And is he happy with it?
Yes. It was really good. Like, there was one part we were watching and I was like, did the director tell you to do that? And he's like, no, that was me. I was like, oh my God, so good.
So good. You're like, that was great, babe.
That was good.
I love that too. I'm trying to think that was, I mean, your whole life, it sounds like too, there was never any huge hurdle you had to overcome. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you had ups and downs.
Of course.
But was there ever, because the way you kind of explained it was very much like, it worked. Like, I went in and I interned, and then I went in and you didn't get that Grey's job first, but you interned, and then you moved to the next and the next. And you worked with, oh my God, such amazing casting directors, and then got to cast on an iconic show that you also were a fan of and loved, and then started your own company.
Yeah.
And so obviously ups and downs, but like, what would you say was the hardest thing to overcome? How did you overcome it? And what would you say to someone out there that's wanting to be a casting director?
In my career, the hardest thing to overcome was when Linda did shut down her company and she was no longer going to work on the shows. And I fought to keep casting Greys in Station 19, and I wasn't picked to continue on. Obviously, that hurt, especially Station 19, because I was on it since the pilot. Also, no one called me to tell me. I heard like from an assistant's friend who worked at ABC that, oh, they went with this other company. And I just remember hearing that and saying to myself, okay, I'm going to be sad for the rest of the day, but then tomorrow it's behind me and I'm just going to move on. And I did that because there's no reason on dwelling on something that's not in your control. Like, I had no control over that. I did my part. I reached out, I talked to ABC, I talked to the new showrunner, and then it was just, I left it. So at least I feel like I did everything in my power. So I felt good about myself. Now, I could have let that like really, put me into a spin, but you just can't do that in this industry. Yeah. Because things like that happen and it's not in my control. So I only focus on things that I can control, and I can control the way I feel about that. Okay, that wasn't meant for me. And you know what? Besides that, I don't want to be casting shows during the pandemic anyway, because that sounds like a nightmare. And so then that opened up my time that I could, that's when I started working with actors one-on-one. So, it's like that old Chinese parable that's like, good news, bad news, who's to say? You're never going to know in your life whether, it might feel like bad news when it happens, but then you see what good came out of it. And same thing, like it might be like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky this happened. But then that might not be the real reason that happened. There could be something else. So I really just try and live my life with integrity and try and be positive, glass half full. And for anyone who wants to be in the casting worlds, I don't know. I wish I needed interns, or I wish I like needed to hire an assistant and make opportunities. But now CSA, which is the Casting Society of America, has an assistant program where you can learn. It's like the assistant apprenticeship or something like that. So you can get into that and learn and try and get into casting.
And that was the CSA?
The CSA.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can like sign up for job alerts and that sort of thing. But, you know, if you're passionate about something, learn everything you can. Learn everything you can about casting and actors, and watch old movies, and don't only follow the stars, but also follow the working actors. That's what you need to, those are the people you need to know.
And why would you say that? Why do you think you need to know the working actors over the stars?
Well, because everyone knows the stars. Yep. But the working actors, you know, those are the people that are going to fill the rest of the ensemble.
I think for me, I'm so happy. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about, you know, you not being brought back to Station 19. And I'm glad that you brought it up. And I'm sorry that that happened to you, because I didn't understand it, but I do love what you're doing now. You wouldn't be doing if that didn't happen. So I'm sad that you left, and I didn't understand it. And it doesn't sound like you really did either, because no one really talked to you about it.
Right.
You're so strong-willed, and you had the ability to go, okay, I'm going to let this bug me for one day and move on.
Yep.
And I really applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Because it's impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah, you were there for, at that point, 12 years?
12 years. Yeah, 12 years.
12 years, and to just not even get a call. And I think that's what people don't see this side of the industry, is sometimes this industry can be very, very, very harsh and very brutal. And by saying that, I mean that you, like you had said earlier, you remember that these people coming in the rooms are humans. We're dealing with humans. And in the entertainment industry, sometimes I think people very quickly forget. And I don't know why. I would love to understand the psychology behind why do people forget that they're human? We're all human.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think because people will hide behind like just being tough. Well, like you have to be tough to be in this industry. So then they'll hide, because then they don't have to show empathy for someone. A little bit of empathy goes real far.
It does.
Yeah. That's why like when actors reach out to me and to like email or even on social media, I always try and write back. Like, because it's encouragement, because I am taking the time to read your email, and wow, you signed with a new agent. Like, that's amazing. That's awesome. Oh, you just got your SAG card? Great job. Like, that's hard. So I could just ignore the email. I could, but why?
But that even goes back to you saying like, this manager and agent really fought for their client. Yeah, I'll see him. Yeah. And you know that that's not the case with a lot of people. People can fight for clients, till they're blue in the face, and sometimes they're just never going to see their client. Yeah. For whatever reasons. Yeah. You see the human element. And that's something that for being someone that's been in the industry as long as you have, that's something that's rare. A lot of people get jaded. A lot of people have to get tough. And then things like what happened to you and what happened to a lot of people I know, when relationships end, when people get let go, the human element goes out the window. And it feels like we're currently in this environment, not just in the industry, where people everywhere are getting let go. I mean, layoffs are just astronomical. Yeah. And no one is really getting nobody's being treated like a human. Yeah. Even if someone had said, and I've said this to people, I'm like, why can't there be a middle ground? You're not gonna get the job back. You've been let go. We're done. We've made the decision. Okay, I can respect that. Be nice about it. Maybe just give me a reason, even if it's a reason. We want to do this over here. We want to do that over there. Yeah. And it just feels like nowadays it's very much like the version is no. Goodbye. If you are letting them go, maybe have a good reason. And if you don't have a good reason, budget cuts I get too, which is a lot of the reason these days. And if you are like just saying, I'm sorry, it's budget cuts. We had to come down to it, and it's budget cuts. But if it's not that situation, give somebody a little bit of insight. We just didn't think you were a good fit. I disagree with you, but okay. Like in the end, at least let me argue my side. Yeah. But we've lost that. We have. Because people are not willing to give people the time to maybe speak for themselves. I mean, yeah, it's sad. It's really sad, and it makes me really upset, and I'm sorry it happened. But thank you for talking about it. Yeah. Because I remember when it happened, and I remember being so completely shocked. Yeah. Especially when you look at somebody and you go, okay, this person's been casting this show since season 4. Season 4. Since season 4, she knows the show. And she also, just from a technical standpoint, knows every single actor we've already had on the show. So like, she'll make sure that we don't bring in the same actor or similar actors, or no, we can't because season 6 we had this and that.
Right.
Like from a technical standpoint, it didn't make sense. So I'm sorry you went through that, but I applaud you for how you handled it. I applaud you for where you're at today. You persevered and you didn't let it, take you down.
Yeah.
And you pivoted into being like, I'm going to run my own, which I think, again, like you said, that proverb, which is good news, bad news.
Who knows?
Who knows? I'm sure in the moment it was such harsh news to hear, but in the end, you now have your own casting company. Use your Jamie Castro casting.
Yeah.
Is it Castro casting or Jamie Castro casting?
It's Castro casting. Yeah. I mean, my Instagram is Jamie Castro
That's what I was going to say. It's the two. Okay.
But it's like cast is in my last name. So, I always like to say that because I feel like I'm truly doing what I'm meant to do.
How did we not start with that? That should have been in the intro. You were made to be a casting director, and I'm so excited to see you win an Oscar and an Emmy and to see all the amazing focus feature films you're going to cast. And to be a part of one of your wellness retreats where you will remind me to be one with Earth and listen to my inner voice.
Yep, you're coming.
Do you think you are sweet or savory? What do you think?
I think I'm sweet.
Okay, great.
But I don't know.
You think you're sweet?
I do.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Waffles or tacos?
Ooh, tacos.
Romantic comedy or psychological thriller?
Oh, it depends on my mood, really. Do I have to answer?
You do.
Wait, what were the
romantic comedy or psychological thriller?
Psychological thriller.
Fresh flowers or scented candles?
Scented candles.
A quiet bookstore or a loud concert?
A quiet bookstore.
Golden hour or midnight?
Oh, golden hour.
Apologize first or wait for an explanation?
Apologize first.
Silk or leather?
Oh, I think silk.
People pleaser or truth teller?
A truth teller.
A warm hug or a firm handshake?
Warm hug.
Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness?
Ask for forgiveness.
Doubt yourself or double down?
Wait, what was it?
Doubt yourself or double down?
Oh, double down.
Emotional or analytical?
Emotional.
Safety or risk?
Risk.
Second chances or one strike and you're out?
Second chances.
Write the hero or write the villain?
Write the hero.
Heart on your sleeve or cards close to your chest?
Heart on my sleeve.
Seek advice or trust your gut?
I trust my gut.
Nostalgia or the future?
Right now, the present.
If only that was one of the options.
Then the future.
Forgiveness or boundaries?
Forgiveness.
Team player or lone wolf?
I guess I'm a little bit. I can be a team player, but I think a lone wolf.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been a little bit of a lone wolf. Yeah.
Sweet talk or real talk?
Real talk.
Keep the peace or start the conversation?
Keep the peace.
Validation or results?
Results.
Morning cuddle or morning workout?
Cuddle.
Cozy cabin or penthouse suite?
Ooh, penthouse suite.
Vulnerability or strength?
Vulnerability.
Be the muse or be the mastermind?
Muse.
Classic or trendsetter?
Oh, trendsetter.
Small circle or power network?
Small circle.
Sugarcoat it or give it to me straight?
Give it to me straight.
1 second, let me tally.
Oh my God. What?
You are 50-50 sweet and savory. You got exactly down the middle.
Oh my God.
It's like the one thing when I did this, I always thought it was like, very rarely do people get the both sweet and savory, but it's so interesting that you did. That you were right down at first, your answers, I was like, there's no way. She's going to be savory. And then it switched like, no, she's going to be sweet. And oh my gosh, yep. You are 50-50. You're both sweet and savory.
Oh my gosh.
Which, you know what? I think, as I've said before, life is full of a lot of sweet and savory. And I think sometimes at this point in your life, you're both sweet and savory. Maybe in a year or so, maybe we'll lean more sweet. Like, that's what's great is the question.
Did you write that?
Yeah.
And then you have like a point total? Or?
A point system. But it's 30 questions. So if you are 50-50 on them, like you got 15 sweet and 15 savory, then that makes you sweet and savory. Yay! And Jamie, I'm not surprised. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you so much for talking all the things about your love and your passion for casting and the arts and yoga and dogs and adopting dogs. It's been a gift. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I love you.